Now it says that we're live.
There we are. Now we're live. Yes. There we
Okay.
are. I see everyone's beautiful face. So, in case you guys didn't hear, unfortunately, I'm going to start over again. If you did hear it, you'll get to hear my beautiful voice again this morning. So, hi, I'm Lakeisha C. Brooks, creator of the Learn, Lead, and Leave a Legacy in the Workplace Women's Project. We have had an amazing time. I think this is about a year since we started. So I'm so excited yet very exhausted because it's been really fun and we've had such a great time. We've been to different cities. We've had an amazing book that's about to come out, and we have the book now in the hands of some wonderful women. We have Spelman professors, international consultants, presidents, and national directors of women's organizations and women's conferences. So I'm really excited about the job that we are going to be doing for so many women across the United States. The book is a project that focuses on issues that affect women in the workplace. Everything from equal pay to the work-life balance to demanding respect, or just simply what can we do to advance women in the workplace. So I'm just really honored, to say the least, to have these great women be a part of this project. So I want each of them to introduce themselves very quickly before we start to get into the speeches. Most of you, if you've been to one of the tours or you know anything about it, I have been the keynote speaker for each of the cities, and this time I decided to take off my speaker hat and allow these women to speak because I just decided this is a better role for me today. So I will be your moderator today. I will make sure everything is going well today. And each of these amazing women and their also beautiful selves early in the morning are going to grace you with their speeches. And I'm going to let them just introduce themselves very quickly before we jump into the speeches. And we're going to start with Sabrina Bronner.
Good morning, world. I am Sabrina Bronner. I am an entrepreneur. I'm currently the owner of the Weave Shop Hair Salon out in Lithonia, Georgia. And I am also co-author of the upcoming book, Learn, Lead, and Leave a Legacy in the Workplace, How to Advance Women to the Top.
Good morning. I'm Aisha Martin. I'm an author, speaker, and serial entrepreneur. I'm also a co-author of the upcoming book. I'm so excited, you guys. This moment is bittersweet. This is the last stop on this train, so I'm really excited.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tasha. I am the CEO and Chief Coach at Start Young Financial, and I am so excited to be able to share with you some knowledge about personal finance and equal pay in the workplace. And obviously, I'm also a co-author on the Learn, Lead, and Leave a Legacy in the Workplace book, and I'm really excited for all of you to read it so you'll see how all of our different pieces come together.
Thank you, ladies. So you just got a glimpse of all of these wonderful ladies, and I must say, the book, I have read it. Sabrina's a co-editor with me. Unfortunately, the other two ladies have not seen it yet, but they are going to be amazed and blown away with the book. Not only has it been 4 different voices, but the voices come together. It doesn't sound like a book where it's just 4 different individuals. It's cohesive. It's going to change lives. And ladies, when I tell you you're going to be blown away and inspired, I mean, I'm just going to give a little bit of tidbit of each chapter. I won't talk about the first one because it's mine, and it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but it's really awesome, I must say. But I must say, I'm going to start with chapter 2, which is Tasha's. I read her chapter, and I immediately thought, okay, I really want to make sure I put more money into my 401k. I want to make sure that I am saving. I felt inspired to save more and to invest more, all because I read her chapter, and it made me look at, what am I getting paid? Am I being valued? What can I do if I'm not getting equal pay? What can I do to make sure that I'm still saving for my future? It just blew me away that this young woman who is under the age of 30, who just had a birthday, knows so much about this topic and can inspire so many different generations of women. And I must say, Tasha, I was really blown away by your writing skill, by your insight, by your knowledge. I was really, really inspired.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And then I get down to chapter 3, which is demanding and earning respect in the workplace, written by Sabrina Bronner. That particular chapter, I've experienced some of that stuff, even just recently. Some of the things that she talks about, and questioning, okay, how do I handle the situation? Do I go to HR? Do I file a lawsuit? What do I do when I'm faced with adversity and disrespect in the workplace? You don't want to come off as aggressive, as she says. You want to be assertive. She talks about the difference in assertiveness and aggressiveness, and how it can rub some people the wrong way if you're too aggressive. And as a woman who, I'm really about my business, and I was told that I'm razor sharp in the workplace. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but when I read her chapter, I started to think about myself and say, okay, I know that I'm earning respect, but am I doing it in an aggressive way, or am I doing it in an assertive way? And it really got me thinking about that particular area as well. When we get to chapter 4, when we talk about the work-life balance, and just some of the topics that affect us in the work-life balance are really important when we talk about me time, and we talk about unplugging, some of the things that Aisha talks about, as she is the author of chapter 4. Just what can we realistically do to make sure we're taking care of ourselves? Aisha is a working mother and a wife, and she just kind of talks about some of the things that she had to do, and some of the things that someone like me, who's not a wife and a mother just yet, even what I can do to make sure that I'm taking care of myself and not working so much. Because as someone who's razor sharp, I'm always working constantly, over and over again. And even someone asked me, what did you do for Labor Day weekend? I worked the entire time. So that chapter 4 from Aisha really gave me some tips on what I can really do to relax and still get the job done, but still be able to take care of me. And then we came down to chapter 5, which was co-written by myself and Sabrina, and it talked about transitioning from the workplace to entrepreneurship. Transitioning is when you take a stand on something you believe in to transition to the next phase of your life. And in this particular case, it will be if you're frustrated in the workplace as a woman, if you're not getting the respect that you earn, if you don't have a proper work-life balance, or if you aren't getting the equal pay, you may just take a stand and find yourself transitioning into entrepreneurship. We give tidbits on what you can do to have an effective business and what you can do while you're still in the workplace in order to be that entrepreneur that you're looking to be as well. And so we wrap it all up with a great conclusion that was written by Sabrina, and just tying it all in together. So I just wanted to give everyone just a little bit of what the book is about, what you can expect. The book will be coming out shortly this month. I'm so excited about that. And we have a lot of different events, book launches, virtual book launches, different events to highlight the book. So without further ado, I want to start with our first speaker, Miss Sabrina Bronner, who will be talking to us about demanding and earning respect in the workplace.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to start with a little story about my background. So 4 years ago is when I started my business. I was 27 years old at the time. My partner was 27 years old at the time as well. And I had some prior management experience, but I had never done anything on this scale of owning a business where I'm going to have multiple employees that are going to report to me and that I have to now lead. So I thought that it was going to be, not a hard thing to do, but not that challenging. I didn't think that it was going to be a rough transition because I had managed people before. What I didn't know was that I was in for a little bit of a rocky ride. First and foremost, I was younger, so I looked younger. Most of my customers and most of my employees were older than me, and now they're having to report to me. My customers were, used to seeing me at the front desk, so they always thought that I was the receptionist at the business. And when they would ask to speak to a manager, say if they had a complaint or some sort of issue, they would always be surprised to hear that it was me. So I'm having to fight against this image of being too young to own the business that I was in with my customers and with my employees. And we went through a few different little bumps in the road, so to speak. We were robbed a couple of different times, and they were internal jobs. My employees, they acted up a little bit, and they were a little unruly at times. But eventually, I started to kind of come to my own. I did things to make sure that I was seen as a professional. And I poured my work ethic that I'd taken to other businesses and put that into my own business. So I made sure that I looked nice and neat. I made sure that I always wore a blazer. I looked professional when I came into the salon. So at some point, we got on track, and it became more of an easy situation and job for me. But it taught me an interesting lesson, and that was that basically you can't just be given respect. It has to be earned and demanded, because just because you're a good person or a nice person, or you know what you're doing, it doesn't mean that people are going to give you respect. So I want to talk about, demanding and earning respect, forms of disrespect in the workplace, and also benefits of being respected in the workplace as well. So I want to talk a little bit about the state of women in the workplace today, first and foremost. So right now, women are, educated, and they're hitting more companies than ever before. We also make up half of the nation's college students, and we're more likely to get our master's and our doctorate degrees than men. We own 9.1 million businesses in the U.S., and we also employ 35% more people than all of the Fortune 500 companies combined. So what that means is that we're becoming a pretty large management workforce, but at the same time, we're still having to fight for the respect amongst our peers. One major way we know this is because of the wage gap. We're only making that 70 cents to every male dollar. And even though we make up almost half of the workforce, that's still going on. So it's not equal. We're still fighting for that. And it's clear that we're still fighting for that respect. So going into talking about the different forms of disrespect in the workplace, we know that disrespect can be subtle or it can be blatant. Your blatant disrespect is going to be discrimination. It's going to be when you're bullied or harassed at work. But the thing about when it's blatant and when it's known is that it can be documented, and it can be somebody can be disciplined or fired for doing those things to you in the workplace. You have the company policies and handbooks that protect you from that. You have the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission that also regulates that, so that if there's a legal implication there, you can sue, if you're not being protected in the workplace. But the subtle forms of disrespect are the ones that are a little bit more hard to pin down and regulate. And this is just because you kind of have to figure out where the line has been crossed, and it makes it more of a gray area, more so than a black and white situation for you to be able to say, well, this isn't right, and I'm going to take action against it. It's something that's kind of up for discussion, and something that's kind of up to your own interpretation, which makes it a harder thing to tolerate and deal with, because it can go on for longer periods of time, unfortunately. So some of the ways that you're being subtly disrespected are if, say, you're mocked in the workplace, or if you're being belittled, if you feel like you're having to work harder to gain respect from someone, or if you're feeling like somebody's making derogatory comments towards you, or if you feel like you're being ignored. So examples of this could be being left out of work meetings or discussions, somebody taking credit for your own achievements or accomplishments, or just plain out not being acknowledged, period. So those are some of the things that can, either way at your self-esteem in the workplace. And your achievement is measured by how much you accomplish in the workplace. So that's why that can be destructive there. So once we realize that we're not getting the respect that we desire, that's when we have to kind of take a self-inventory and take care of ourselves and stand up for ourselves. That's when it's time to demand and earn respect. So demanding respect is going to be when we take an active stance and active part in getting the respect that we deserve and desire. It's going to deal with our demeanor and with our the way we respond to others. So how can we demand respect in the workplace? A couple of different ways. The first is going to be in our communication style. So women tend to use more words to explain themselves than men. Men are more direct and straightforward when they speak to others. So one way that we can kind of demand respect in the workplace is in the way that we speak and in the words that we use. We want to make sure that we communicate with words that are straightforward and words that do not express uncertainty, such as maybe, or I think so, or I think that might be a good idea. We want to be more assertive than that. We don't want to use those emotional words such as feeling or hoping. I was hoping that you would, acknowledge me in the meeting, those sorts of things. We want to be more direct and straightforward. Another way is to be confident and not arrogant. So confidence inspires others, and it gives us the air of being put together and knowledgeable at what we do. Arrogant people just have a false confidence, and they gain more from being condescending to others. They seem to maybe be a know-it-all, and they may also have demeanor of I can never get fired attitude or demeanor at work as well. So also we want to be assertive and not aggressive, like Lakeisha was talking about a little bit earlier. So assertive people are able to basically communicate their opinions in a way that respects others. Aggressive people need to control others or get their way or intimidate others to feel respected. The difference is that while it appears that this person is respected, they may not truly be respected. So the last thing is to know your job and know how to do them well. Of course, if you get hired for a job and you only know how to do 50% of the job, you should only expect 50% of the respect that comes with that job, because what's going to happen is somebody else is going to have to take up the work that you know how to do and pick up your own slack. So, those are all important ways for us to demand respect. Now, when it comes to earning respect is going to be a situation in which we take the time to invest in ourselves and in the companies that we work for, so that we can show our leadership skills and we can show that we, want to earn respect by how we present ourselves and how we respect others. So, as far as I'm sorry about that, guys. As far as earning respect, you want to do this in a few different ways. First one, professional appearance. You want to make sure that you look neat, look put together. The second way is going to be by producing great work. If you're a benefit to your team, of course, everyone's going to know. You're going to stand out as a benefit to your team. Everybody knows who the weak links are. Everybody knows who the rock stars are at work. You also want to meet deadlines. This makes you look reliable. And you also want to solve problems. And this comes in response to a situation where a lot of people complain at work, and a lot of people know how to identify the problems at work, but they never have a solution to fix those problems. So if you're able to problem solve, that automatically makes you more of a asset to your company and to your coworkers. You also want to be approachable. Oftentimes we're not aware of certain demeanor, facial expression, or body language that may make us seem unapproachable to others. And we want to smile, look relaxed, look comfortable. You want to make sure that you're not looking mean or intimidating to others. And lastly, you want to be considerate and patient, and you want to attack the problem instead of attacking the person. So, of course, when we're in a situation where we're around multiple people, there's going to be conflict. That's just human nature. That's going to happen. So you can never control another person, but you can control yourself. So when problems do arise, you have to be able to detach yourself from that situation and be able to look at the problem objectively and come up with a mutual solution that benefits both parties. So when you treat people this way, and when you respect other people and show and prove yourself to be a leader and an asset, you make a lasting impression on your peers. People never forget how you make them feel. So obviously, demanding and earning respect is not easy. It does take some time. It does take some hard work. But the reason you would want to do this is because it carries benefits that will help you within your career and within your workplace. So when you're respected, a few different things happen. You are able to be more confident in the workplace. You're more confident because you're able to communicate and express your ideas more freely. You're able to be taken seriously. And this helps you to have a better relationship with your coworkers and with your peers because you can maybe deal a lot easier with somebody who's maybe a little tough on you at work, whether it's a coworker or your boss. You're also going to have more influence in the workplace. Your opinion will carry more weight, and people will come to you for input on more decisions. And lastly, you become an obvious choice for promotion and better pay opportunities. So you're going to basically be able to be in a position where you look like the obvious choice for that promotion or for that raise, which is, of course, always a benefit when you're in the workplace. And lastly, I want to leave you with this. We spend a whole lot of time in the workplace. It's about a third of our lives that we spend there. So knowing that you're going to spend a third of your life in the workplace, it would seem that you would want to have these benefits, and it would seem that you would want to have happiness in the place that you're at, because nobody wants to spend a third of their life unhappy or feeling like they were disrespected or feeling like they didn't get what they deserved. So it's a basic human need to want this respect. And if you have more influence, if you have more confidence, if you have more opportunity at work, then of course you're going to have more job satisfaction or job happiness. So this is the ultimate goal behind demanding and earning respect. So as women, we possess all the tools that we need to possess in order to achieve these things. We have the IQ, we have the EQ, we have the drive, we have the ambition. The business world and the future of it is literally in our hands right now. So the only thing that we're having to do is to just step up and grab it and lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. Really great. After listening to that again, like I said, as someone who has experienced recently, in my opinion, some disrespect, it was very refreshing for me to hear some of the things that you said. I know for me, I went into my organization and said that I want to immediately demand and earn respect. I want immediately people to look at me and say, she knows her job, she's very good at it. But at the same time, I know that sometimes I've been accused of being slightly aggressive, especially from a sales background. When it comes to sales, I like to win. I'm very competitive. Right. And if you know me, I'm really competitive and I like to win. But listening to what you said, it kind of gave me some tidbits that I can be just as assertive and I can demand and earn that respect without being so aggressive. And so, Sabrina, I really appreciate some of your tips that you gave everyone, but especially to me as well. So thank you for that. And now we will introduce Miss Aisha Martin, and she's going to be talking to us about the work-life balance. And like I said earlier, I'm 31 years old, and I'm in the place of my life where I want to have kids and I want to get married, and I'm having a hard time just juggling being an auntie and being a daughter and spending time with my family. So I'm very excited to hear what Aisha has to say that can not only help all of you out there, but to help me as well. So I would like to introduce Miss Aisha Martin.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Of course, Sabrina, as always, I love hearing you talking about demanding respect, because I think that goes across the board, especially with women. So I always enjoy listening to you speak on that topic. So good morning, everyone. When it comes to work-life balance, it's funny. This is something that let's see how to put this. This is something that I didn't let me research how to do, so to speak. It's something that I have lived, and once people started to like, hey, Aisha, do you have advice on this? Do you have advice on this? That's when I was like, okay, you know what? Let me look into this a little bit further. Maybe it's not just me. Maybe, it's not just me that feels like, okay, you know what? Do I really have to wear this Superwoman cape? Do I have to wear this? And, just
Mm.
because I'm a woman, does the world look at me like you have to have it together? Not so much. So when it comes to work-life balance, you have to be careful on what you decide to sacrifice. And I'm gonna give you a little backstory. When growing up for me, what I always heard was, okay, Aisha, go to school, you graduate from high school, you go to college if you choose to, but most importantly, you must get a good job and stay there 30, 40 years, retire.
Mm.
Hopefully you'll get a great package, and if you're lucky, you'll get a nice gold watch. So we know that is not true anymore. That is not the society. We no longer love for maybe even 1 decade now. People are starting to explore other options. You know that what comes with, okay, let me see if I can find another way to make another source of income, or what else can I do, to make sure that I'm secure, my family is secure. What else can we do? Okay, that brings along another set of issues, because you have family, you are a mother, you are a daughter, you are a student, you're a sister, brother, uncle. You have a role, you have priorities, and you have titles. How do you balance all of this stuff while you continue to stay true to yourself? One question I get a lot from people who may not have kids yet, or who aren't in a serious relationship yet, is, when I get in a serious relationship, when I get married, or when I have kids, does that mean I have to stop traveling? Does that mean I have to stop pursuing my goals, my dreams? I don't know where that came from, but no, you do not have to stop. I still travel all the time. I mean, I go to Costa Rica actually next month. But you have to be more strategic with how you do things, with how you do it. A lot of people tell me, or so I've heard, you have to do this one thing at a time first, and then you get that thing going, you jump to the next. I tried that, it did not work. It did not work at all for me. I'm a person that if I'm only working on one thing, I get a little anxious, because I have your brain starts going and the wheels start turning, and it's like, I got this idea, I have this idea. You can't tell me that I'm only supposed to just focus on one, because that's going to drive me crazy. And I cannot afford to go crazy for anyone. So I had to figure out, how do I make this work? I've done different jobs. I've been a waitress. I've worked in accounting. I've worked for the Department of Corrections, health field, law field. I mean, I've done a lot of different things, but something was always missing. And that's when I was like, you know what, let me try to do my own thing, because apparently I'm not a good employee. Something is not working there, because I'm no longer at these jobs. So once I started to become my own boss, or started to, venture into the world of being an entrepreneur, that worked for me, because I was able to set my own rules and deal with who I want to when I want to. But that still left the fact that, hey, I have kids and I'm married. So I can't devote 12 to 15 to 18 hours every single day straight, to get a business going, because I cannot have something lacking. What I had to learn was, having it all and doing it all are two totally different things. And I think a lot of people get that misconstrued. It's a difference. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to succumb to the pressure of, yeah, I got to do it all. You don't. And I think that's where a lot of women mess up at, or get things a little confused. Don't feel guilty if, your home is not clean or spotless 365 days out of the year. To me, that's not realistic. You have to learn how to delegate. You have to learn how to prioritize. We as women, we are natural givers. Okay, we're nurturers. We seldomly take our own advice, or it's really hard to take our own advice, but we are quick to lift up, encourage, and guide others because that's what we're built for. We are great for that. That is our gift. Okay. And I really believe that everything that we experience in life is not just for us, it's for someone else. So we can help them. That's why we're so smart. Yes, I said that. A lot of people like to quote, hey, we all have these things 24 hours in a day. Oprah, Beyonce, Ariana Huffington, everyone. Yeah, that is true. However, do you have their resources? Do you have the help that they have? Are you, have you gotten a chance to delegate, hire a staff to do some of those things that maybe you don't have time to do? If you don't, that's okay. You start with where you are. So one of the tips that I want to give is to do what works for you. Okay, life and experiences are not cookie cutter. Your definition of success may not necessarily be what the next person's definition is. Your journey, your purpose, your truth, everything is different. You don't have to fall into the cookie cutter category of, oh, the early birds get the worms. Not necessarily true. I know a lot of people whose aha moments and their creative juices flow after midnight. So you have to do what works for you and not, try to look over your shoulder at what the next person is doing to see what works for them, because you don't know what their process is. You don't know what they have in order or what their strategies are. You don't know. So do what works for you. One thing that works for me big time is scheduling. I have multiple businesses that range from PR and business consulting, and then, I'm a speaker, I write, I'm in oil and energy, I do a lot of other different things. So I have to schedule a lot of stuff. If I don't schedule, sometimes what will happen is, you ever have those days you're working and you look up and the only thing you had was maybe breakfast and cereal or a granola bar, and you're looking and now it's like 6, 7 o'clock, and you're like, wait a minute, did I eat today? And you actually really have to think about what you ate. You can't do that to your body. We only get one body, and when you get or reach your definition of success, we don't want to spend time and all this money having to go to doctors and all this stuff for things that could have been prevented if we would have took the time to take care of ourselves. So plan ahead, all right? Figure out what your non-negotiables are. What are some things that you are not willing to miss out on, period? For me, I have kids. So what I am not going to miss out on is, for my youngest, I've got to be able to put him in bed. So my husband and I will tag team. So if it's something urgent, we'll tag team, but I love to be there to put him in bed. That's a non-negotiable for me. So I have to schedule everything else around that, and that works for me. I plan out weekly things, daily. The night before, I always look over my spiral notebooks. I love them. I love them to life. And I look at, okay, what was my priorities for today? Did I cross out everything on my to-do list? Did life happen? Did things happen? And then, it kind of veered me off. All right, that's okay. Let me write my list for tomorrow. Let me put my most important things first. Let me make sure I, put my breakfast time in, or set my alarm on my phone, or whatever you have to do. I don't care if you have to schedule bathroom time or workout time, whatever. Then you need to figure out a time to wind down. When do you cut it all off? When do you disconnect? Every single day. What is that one thing that you can do to, like, all right, you know what? I am done with this day. It's over with. Everything else, it can be done tomorrow. Find a way to wind down, cut the day off. Okay? Do what makes sense and sense for you. Sense as in money sense and mental sense. Now, for me, example, like today, it's a Saturday morning, all right? Don't judge me if you do, just be nice. But on Saturday mornings, a lot of times I have the cleaning ladies that come to help clean this house because I have too much other stuff to do. I have 3 kids. You're talking about ballet and gymnastics and games, and I have a teenager, so you're talking about mall and movies and other random stuff. Oh, in addition to everything else I need to do, like I have nieces and nephews. I have a mom. They like to do stuff. So for me, cleaning up my house, that takes away time. Okay, I could do more with my time if I have, hey, come and, clean this, and then that way I can come back to a clean house. But that is what works for me. That'll take me all day to try to clean. I don't want to do that. That does not make me happy. All right. I like to do things that make me happy. So I had to learn, like, you know what, and there's so many skills, and everyone has access to help and to delegate, but you have to be willing to look for it. All right. It's out there, and it's not so out of reach as it once was. So even with work tasks, if it's a lot going on, or if I have a flood of emails that come in, especially if you've been on vacation and you didn't check work emails, it's something about coming back from vacation and the floodgates open. You have tons of emails and messages that you have to get caught up on. If you need to hire an intern, hire an intern. That's what they're there for. Virtual assistants. That team no sleep thing, I don't know who's on that team or who's the captain, but I'm not. I tried it, and I think I got kicked off the team because I'm like, you know what? No, because I am not team bags under my eyes every single day. Give me a couple days maybe when I have to burn that midnight oil, but I'm going to get my rest because I want to be healthy and thriving, in 10 years, not hurting and ailing over something I could have prevented. That is your choice. You have to choose what is your priority, and we all know that health is wealth. So take care of yourself. And that means me time. So what do you like to do? Okay, we already established that Aisha does not like to clean the house often. Okay, so she has help. But I also, I do enjoy, going out to concerts. I enjoy working out. So what do you like to do? Is it a spa time? What should you do? What can you do? The thing is, you should have some me time every single day. I don't care if it's a moment to, 15 minutes to meditate, go outside, talk to an old friend, catch up on a book, watch some TV, whatever it is that will help you to just like kind of disconnect a little bit, get back to you. You should do that. All right. Plan a trip, take those vacations. Don't just say, oh man, I want to go on a cruise. Oh, well, I want to go, over to France. I want to go over to Australia. Okay. So what is stopping you? Plan it and do it, and stop wishing and stop just, dreaming, because they'll always just stay there. Get a plan together and do it, all right, so that you can take care of yourself. If you are not good for you, how can you be good to anyone else or be of service to anyone else, all right? Another thing for me that I see with women, you have to learn how to say no. We as women, like I said, we will give, and we won't say no, even when we know and we feel like, oh my gosh, I can go sit down, I can take a break. But no, someone asked me to do this, let me do it. Set those boundaries, and you set those boundaries early. It's just like, Lakeisha, when you say you went in saying, hey, I want to learn, I want to demand respect. You went in there at the beginning, you set those boundaries, made it known at the beginning. Once you teach people how to treat you, that's how they will come. Set your boundaries. Okay, learn to know that you don't have to be everybody's everything, and you don't have to do everything. Just because you can does not mean you always should. Okay, take those physical and mental breaks before you go crazy. All right, it's great to be kind and nice and all of that stuff, but do it on your own time. The next person's emergency is not your priority. That's theirs, not yours. All right. And another tip I want to talk about is like procrastinating. Sometimes that's something that I still have to work with. I have to check myself on procrastinating, because if it's something that's kind of like tedious, I don't want to do it. It's not fun. But that whole I'm busy. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. All right. A rocking horse is busy. It rocks back and forth all day long, but it's not going anywhere. So when you're talking about your priorities and your obligations, double check to see if you're just being busy, just wasting time, or are you really being productive? You want the productivity hours to really mean something, not just being busy. You can be busy checking social media all day, but if you're not really doing anything, what are you doing besides wasting time? Reward yourself often. Do you notice how sometimes in businesses that strangers will often support first before family, or family is like, well, I don't know. Nah. Listen, reward yourself often, toot your own horn, pat yourself on the back, And whoever gets it, you roll with it. Let them get it. Okay, everybody else, they will come along, but don't be so quick to dim like your own light and your own success. You know, if you did a great job, if you did great, pat yourself on the back. If you're able to, travel the world with your son and or whatever, and someone else that can't do it, that's them. They need to get a system in place, but don't dim it because people will make you feel bad. And it's not even their fault. You have to be careful what you accept. All right. So take those vacations, ask for help when you need it. Take that cape off and put it up nicely, wear it at a Halloween party or something. But that Superwoman cape, ask for help. Don't be afraid to do that. All right. There is always something that you have to do. And the last thing that I want to leave you with is evaluate often. Evaluate your systems that you have in place. Like I said, yeah, there's always something to do, but I mean, hey, it's just like it's always bills to pay. But evaluate your systems often. Example, like this time of year for myself towards the end of the year is normally kind of slow. I kind of push everything off the first quarter, and I kind of chill. It's like a vacation time. But with a couple of new clients, this is their booming season, so that puts me back in full throttle mode end of the year. So I had to reevaluate the systems that I've had in place so that I can accommodate for my clients. So just because you have this one system in place and this is what you do, life happens and things change, and you need to be able to go with it and change it. Because if you try to stop the change, you will become overwhelmed and you become stressed over something you have no control over. So those are the tips I want to leave you with when it comes to your work-life balance. And I hope everyone was able to take away a pointer or two so that you can, learn how to definitely have it all without having to do it all. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Aisha. That was very insightful information. As someone who, like I stated before, I do a lot, I work a lot, it was really refreshing to hear you give some pointers that can assist on balancing that work life. As a matter of fact, in my last relationship, part of the reason why it fell apart was because I was accused of always working and always putting work first, and that's all I cared about. And to hear you say that, you can have that, you can have your relationship, really made me hopeful that I can balance it. But as a workaholic, it's kind of hard to do that. But and then you said something about having a bowl of cereal. The other day I looked up and I said, wow, when you wake up and you realize all you had was a bowl of cereal, that was me the other day. So I just really love hearing that you have been successful in business, been successful as a mom and as a wife, and you're able to do it on your terms and what you define as success. So thank you so much for your words. And so now I want to introduce a young lady who, as I stated, just had a birthday. And I think she's 28 now.
Yes.
She's 28, so she still hasn't hit 30 just yet. But she's accomplished so many great things. I think she just had a feature or an article in Black Enterprise, if I'm not mistaken, about her. So she's doing a lot of great things at such a tender age. I'm so proud of her. She's talking about equal pay. This is something that has been, women have been facing this adversity since we started in the workplace. And she'll go into more detail about that. But even now, we're still facing this battle. And I know you guys are going to love what she has to say. She's going to give really great pointers on how to overcome that. If you are facing unequal pay, how do you still maintain your livelihood? How do you still save? So I want to introduce everyone to this wonderful young lady. So Latasha, go ahead and take it away.
All right. So hi, you guys. I'm really excited to be able to share with you some of the information that I've learned over the years. And right now, I am in Chicago, specifically in my mom's room. You may notice that she has a random sheet on the wall. I don't really know why. And she has a star up in the corner. So, yeah. But it's really awesome to be able to be home and to be in Chicago, which is where I was born and raised. And I always say that, I went from the back streets to Wall Street because I was raised in one of the most economically depressed counties in the United States, period. And I was raised by a single mom who taught me how important it is to be a strong black woman. And so when I think about the caricature of what a strong black woman is, or what that archetype is, I often think about my mom, and I think about how she raised me, and it's because of her. And also because of my father, but my mom was very influential. She would tell me things very specifically. She would say, you don't need a man for anything, right? And she would tell me things like that, and, she would make sure that I understood that anything that I wanted in life, that I was able to achieve it and I was able to accomplish it. And so I'm really grateful to have that type of influence in my life, and I think that this conversation about equal pay in the workplace, it is really awesome for me to be able to have this conversation with you, where it all started for me. So when I think about where we are as a nation as it relates to equal pay in the workplace, it's a little disheartening because we've been in the same position for decades, with little to no change. And we talked about the fact that women make 75 cents on the dollar. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about what that means. So the conversation that I want to have with you today is going to be a little bit different from the conversation that I had with you guys in the book. So in the book, we get really down into the nitty-gritty of unequal pay in the workplace and what you need to do if you want to make sure that you're positioning yourself to get the equal pay that you deserve. But if you want that information, you're going to have to go to the book to get it. Because today, what I want to talk to you about is 5 things, just 5, that I want women in the workplace to know in order to achieve financial freedom. Because the conversation about unequal pay is not one that we have within a vacuum. Ultimately, what we're thinking about is long-term. We're thinking about your long-term financial goals and your ability to reach those goals. And we're also thinking about how your pay is going to affect that. And so many of the things that we've talked about today have already been relevant, and you'll find that the things that I talk about relates to what Lakeisha talks about, relates to what Aisha talks about, relates to what Sabrina talks about. And I think part of what I want to do is wrap it somewhat together, but really talk about it from the financial perspective. So I'm going to bring to you 5 things that I want women in the workplace to know as it relates to positioning yourself for financial freedom. And I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. And I'm going to try to smile while I do it, because I remember last time I did this presentation, Lakeisha and Aisha came up to me and they said, Tasha, you never smile. Like, you need to smile more. You need to be more personable. And so I'm going to try to incorporate that. And I think being home makes me feel more comfortable, makes me feel more in my element. So we will see how things go. And if you hear random noises in the background, it's because I'm at home. Number 5. 5 things I want you to do in the workplace, and 5 things I want you to know as it relates to financial freedom. Number 5, I want you to be your own advocate, okay? So understand that nobody is coming to save you. Nobody has an agenda that is meant to help you, except maybe Lakeisha. But ultimately, it is your responsibility to advocate for your professional advancement in the workplace. A lot of times we think about what it means to have mentors and what it means to have sponsors, or what it means to have advocates who can help pull you up. And I have personally been in, I worked at a Fortune 50 company managing $100 million budgets for some of the biggest brands in the world. So even though I'm an entrepreneur now, I'm very well versed in what it means to be in the corporate world and how cutthroat it can be. And one of the conversations that I hear pretty often from women in corporate America is that it is very difficult to find another woman or anybody in general that's going to be an advocate for you to help you advance your professional career. And so I want to be that reality check for you to help you understand that the person that you're looking for is you. And so when you're thinking about how do you make sure that you get the equal pay that you deserve, you have to do that by being your own advocate and speaking up on behalf of yourself. So a lot of times in the workplace, women don't feel comfortable saying, hello, I deserve this raise. And we don't feel comfortable talking about the things that we've accomplished or how great that we are. We feel like it's self-serving. Even if you recall in the beginning, Lakeisha, you didn't want to talk about the first chapter because you said that you didn't want to toot your own horn. So, and I just thought about that. Sometimes you have to toot your own horn. And in general, I know that that's not something that Lakeisha has a problem with.
Not at all.
Not something that she has a problem with, and it's not something that you should have a problem with either. So I want you to get very comfortable tooting your own horn and talking about how great you are. When I'm with my male colleagues, one thing that I notice that they do is they'll say, they'll draw your attention to something that they did. And for me, it can be pretty annoying. I'm like, yeah, I know, great. Do you want a cookie? But when it's the appropriate time and the appropriate place, don't hold back. And that's going to be in your performance reviews and leading up to those performance reviews. So you are trying to position yourself for the promotion that you want and for the equal pay that you want. And in order to do that, you have to tell people how awesome you are. I was listening to, I can't remember her name, but she's one of the foremost authorities in the financial industry. She's one of the leading women on Wall Street. And basically she said that you can tell people how to perceive you. And she said that she wanted people to perceive her as being tough. And so she would say, you know I'm really tough when it comes to this, right? She didn't change her actions at all. She changed how she talked about herself. And so she would say, I'm really tough when it comes to X, Y, and Z. So one of the things that you can do is change your language and how you talk about yourself, and it can change how people perceive you. And you can begin to say things like, one of my strong points is really identifying X, Y, and Z. I'm really good at positioning others for X, Y, and Z. One of the areas that I excel in is blah, 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 blah. And those can be the areas that are really going to position you for that promotion that you're looking for, and that can help frame the conversation around how people view you, which ultimately can help position you for that promotion or that raise that you're looking for. The fourth thing that I want you to understand, and they said this on an episode of Scandal, and I thought that moment went down in infamy, and it relates to women as well. You have to work twice as hard to be half as good, or to be considered half as good. And in this case, this is literally a numbers game, right? I'm only talking about the numbers. So what I really want you to understand is that even though you're making less, you're making 75 cents on every male dollar, that is no excuse for underperforming, because nobody is going to look at your retirement account and say, you know what, it's really unfortunate that she doesn't have enough in her retirement account, but I know that it's because of unequal pay in the workplace, so let me subsidize that for her. Let me be the first to tell you that not only is nobody going to try to subsidize it for you, but you're actually going to be at a detriment because of this. Now let me tell you why. If you're only getting 75 cents of income on every male dollar, this means that when it comes to percentages, if you're putting 5% in your 401k and your male colleague is putting 5% in his 401k, that means that your dollar amount is going to be smaller. That also means that the percentage of Social Security that's being put away for you is going to be smaller. That means that your percentage of savings that you're putting away is automatically going to be smaller just because of how the numbers shake out, just because your income is less. And I was reading an article, and it was talking about how the retirement issue that we hear in our country, the statistic says that 70% of Americans are not prepared for retirement, and it talks about how a disproportionate number of those people were women. And one of the indirect causes of that, or perhaps a direct cause, is income inequality. So not only that, but income inequality leads to net worth inequality. One of the most stark statistics that I hear, or that I've researched myself, is that it's really hard for me to even conceptualize this, but it says that the average net worth of a middle-aged black woman is $5. Now, I want you to understand this, because the average net worth for an African American family is $10,000, but the average net worth of a single middle-aged black woman is 5 single solitary dollars. Okay, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the average net worth of a white household is $100,000. Right? So this is pretty drastic and pretty stark. Like, this is actually pretty insane. And so what I'm asking you to do is quite a tall order, because I'm asking you to literally do more with less. What I'm telling you is that you need to double the amount that you put in your savings. You need to double the amount that you put towards your investments, because the income that you're getting is not going to support the type of retirement that you want. So I hope that you feel a sense of urgency as it relates to your financial situation, because we need to be attacking this from so many different fronts, right? On one hand, it's a policy issue. We need to talk to legislators and policymakers to make sure that women do get equal pay in the workplace. But in the meantime, we can't let the fact that we do not get equal pay serve as an excuse for why we are underperforming financially, because at the end of the day, that excuse is not going to serve us. The third thing that I want to talk to you about, number 3 on my list, is something that Aisha talked about a little bit when it relates to balance. And I want to talk to you about it from a financial perspective. And it is, put yourself first. Sometimes it is okay for you to put yourself first. I told you I was raised by a single mom, and I watched as my mom made decisions that put our needs ahead of her own needs. And as a mother, it is your natural instinct to do so. But you also have to understand that your financial well-being, making sure that you are a pillar of financial success, is going to have a ripple effect for you and everybody else that is connected to you. So it is not only in your best interest to make sure that you are well taken care of, but it is also in everybody's best interest. So if you think about what they say when you get on the plane, if the oxygen mask come down, you need to put on your oxygen mask first and then put on your children's oxygen mask. From a financial perspective, that means that you have to make sure that you have a financial foundation built under you. Some of the ways that I see women undermine this is that you go to work, you work as hard as you can, you're overworked and you're underpaid, and then because you don't spend as much time with your children as you would like, you overcompensate. And you overcompensate by buying material things, and sometimes you overcompensate with education. One of the biggest expenditures could be education, sending your child to private school. You have to make sound financial decisions regarding what is in the budget, what is feasible, and what is not. If you're a single mom and you're making 75 cents on every dollar and you don't have the financial resources to send your child to a private school, don't. Public school is going to have to work. And then if you're thinking about co-signing on those student loans, rethink that. Because while your child may be able to take out loans for their education, you cannot take out loans for your retirement. And not only that, but while you are going into debt to, quote unquote, help your child get an education, what's going to happen when you get to retirement and you don't have any money? Whose financial burden do you think you're going to become? So it is more than important. It is overly important. I need you to understand me when I say that it is not selfish for you to put your needs ahead of the needs of the people around you sometimes. And that goes not just for your children, but for your parents as well. We are in a sandwich generation right now where we're right in the middle. We're starting to have children, our parents are starting to age, and people are looking to us as actual adult figures. Now, some of you watching this, you might be used to that, but I'm 28, and I'm like, wait, I'm doing the adult thing now? Like, I'm the one that's responsible for stuff? And it's crazy because I'm responsible, but I only want to be responsible for myself. I don't want to be responsible for other people. But we're getting to the age now where our parents are going to start relying on us more and more. And as we have our own families, they're going to be relying on us more and more. And those are the things that we have to think about as we become the financial pillars of security and stability. If you are not stable financially, how do you think you are going to manage the people who are demanding your time, energy, and resources? So think about that. The second thing that I want you to think about, make personal finance a priority. Think about the legacy that you're creating. You're not only trying to become financially savvy for your own good, but you also want to be financially savvy because you want to teach the next generation to be good with money as well. Think about all of the sacrifices that I'm asking you to undergo right now. Right? Automatically you enter the workforce and you have a pay cut. And then on top of that pay cut, I'm telling you that you need to not only save more, but invest more than all of your peers. Right? I mean, I'm asking you to be a unicorn. And I talk about black girl money magic a lot because we need magic to make this stuff work. And it's amazing because black women are so strong and so resilient, and women in general can make something out of nothing. And so this is not new territory for us, but we have to expand and think about it not only within the context of providing resources for our households, we also need to think about it within the context of providing monetary resources that translate into financial legacy. And oftentimes, women are going to be that first teacher. You are going to be the one that transmit this information to your children. Your children are going to model what you do. They're also going to model what their role models are doing, and you want to be that role model for them. Because let's say you undergo all of these financial challenges, obstacles, and sacrifices that I'm talking about. You set yourself up well financially. You create something and a legacy to leave for your children. What do you think is going to happen if your children are not prepared to manage it? So when I say make personal finance and financial literacy a priority, one of the things that I'm talking about is the transmission of knowledge. Not just the transmission of resources and money, but transmitting knowledge, making sure that your children are coming along for the journey with you. And not just your children, but your extended family. You know, we're not in this as individuals. We're thinking about creating sustainable legacies for ourselves, our families, and also the larger communities that surround us. One thing that I love about being a woman is the amount of compassion that we innately feel for others, the desire to be nurturing. And I really feel that when women become financially empowered, we're going to have the resources that can help heal our communities. Because contrary to popular belief, it's going to take more than good thoughts to heal our world, it takes financial resources. And when women lack financial resources, the world around us suffers. And so the final thing that I want to leave you with is one of the things it's something that I struggle with the most, and that is don't get over attached to the idea of being an independent woman. And understand that some of the things that have allowed you to survive in your circumstances, you have an amazing job, you're doing well in your career, you're moving on up the corporate ladder, but yet you're still struggling financially because for some reason your cash flow cannot seem to keep track with your lifestyle. Do not be overly attached to this idea of independent womanhood. In the financial world, when you were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, it is not going to serve you to think about yourself as one single unit. You have to think about this idea of interdependency. How do you work together to get the job done? And Aisha said, ask for help. Sometimes getting to the next level in your finances is a matter of you asking somebody in your life for help. And the kicker is that you might be the answer to their next financial level as well. So when you're looking for these interdependent relationships, you're looking for a yin and yang situation. You're looking to support somebody that you're looking to connect with somebody who has what you need, but you also have what they need, right? And so this is really important because, guys, we live in America, and in America we have this idea that, you know, I can do it on my own, I can make it on my own, I'll pull myself up by my bootstraps, I don't need any help, I don't want any help. And by all means, if you were born with a silver spoon, you don't need any help. You may not need any help. But if that is not the case, then I need you to understand that in order to make it in this world, we actually do need one another. I can almost guarantee you that you will not make it to the top without leaning on the people who are also headed to the top with you. And so I'm going to run down those 5 things again. Number 5, be your own advocate. Speak up and let the world know that you deserve equal pay and that you've worked hard for it. You've worked hard for the promotion that you've been positioning yourself for. Number 4, work twice as hard. That means saving more and investing more even though you're getting paid less. I hear you saying, but Tasha, and I want you to know, I don't care. There is no buts because those buts are not going to serve you. We can take those buts to the policy table. We can take those buts to the advocacy tables and have the conversations with the change makers. But until we are able to impact change, we have to be the change that will create the results that we want to see in our lives with no excuses. I get that it's hard. I've been there. But I also have triumphed in all financial situations that I've been in, and I know that you can too. Number 3, put yourself first. Understand that without your personal financial stability, everything around you is going to be weakened. As a woman, we need you to be financially strong so that you can impact the communities and families around you. Number 2, make personal finance a priority in your life and in the lives of your children so that you can pass on and transfer not only financial resources but also financial knowledge that truly allows wealth to become sustainable through the generations. And then number 1, don't get overly attached to the idea of being an independent woman. We do need each other, and we cannot make it on this financial journey on our own. So when I think about equal pay in the workplace, I want women to know that you are awesome, you are phenomenal, you are strong, and you are more than capable of doing what it takes to get to where you need to be financially. And I hope that this conversation about money, that it sparks something in you and that it makes you want to learn more about how you can push the needle on your wealth and how you can take it to the next level. So if that's something that you are interested in, definitely feel free to contact me. You can go to my website at startyoungfinancial.com. But ultimately, I want you to pick up the book because I'm sure you're listening to this because you're a leader and you want to know how to leave a legacy and you're open to learning how to do that. So pick up the book, Learn, Lead, and Leave a Legacy in the Workplace, and it's going to walk you through everything that I said today and then some. And it's going to give you those practical nuggets of information about how to achieve financial freedom even while we're dealing with unequal pay in the workplace. We won't let that hold us back. And even while we're working on ourselves, we're also working on the system because we're not going to sit back and accept unequal pay if our male counterparts are doing the same job that we're doing, then we deserve to get that equal pay. And that's something that we need to take to the policy front and to the advocacy front while we work on ourselves in the meantime. Thank you so much, guys. That is all I have for you, and I hope those 5 bits of information help you to move the needle in your personal financial life. And Lakeisha, back to you.
Thank you so much, Latasha. It was so great to hear from you and all of your little nuggets to help women to be financially free. I know, like you said, there's so many obstacles that are holding us back as is just because we do receive unequal pay. And for you to give those little nuggets, I think will definitely help women tremendously. And I know for me, just listen to some of the things you were saying, again, as I spoke before, I was inspired, as I always am, to hear what you have to say in order to make sure that we are free. And investing is so important in retirement. And I hear so many people say they live in the moment, and it's in the moment. And that's great. That's wonderful. I don't live my life like that. But for those that do, I would just like them to hear, well, Tasha, I'm sure you hear it too. And it's like when you're living in the moment. Exactly. And what happens when that moment happens and you're 65, 70 years old and you can't work? What are you going to do? So I think that you're giving really great information for, especially the 4 of us, we're all millennials, and for us to be change agents is incredible. And I think that of the 4 of us, the oldest may be 33, I want to say. So I think 33, right, Aisha? 33?
I'm 32.
32. Oh, we're even younger than I thought. So
Yeah.
we're all extremely young women between the ages of 28 to 32. And to see what we're doing and see how we're changing the world, how we are transforming what the young Black millennial woman looks like, what she sounds like, how she acts. For me to be around you all has been an honor. And I cannot ask to be around more incredible women. And as Tasha spoke, the book is coming out. We want you guys to pick it up. We want you guys to learn and lead and leave a legacy as women. It's important that we do so. As Aisha stated, you won't find anyone really in the workplace for 20, 30 years as our parents were. As she stated, you'll be lucky if someone stays an entire decade. And that's where the workplace is going. So this book is not just for you as an individual, but it's also for companies and for organizations to understand what women are trying to achieve. And the last chapter says it. If you do not give us equal pay, if you do not respect us, if you do not try to retain us, we will transition. We will find the next phase of our lives, whether it's working for someone else or whether it's become an entrepreneur like everyone here on the panel has done at some point in their lives. So I want everyone quickly you ladies to give just a quick plug of where people can find additional information on you. Maybe you have a Facebook page, a website where you want people to find a little bit more information about you. So we'll start with Sabrina, then Aisha, then Tasha, and then I'll just wrap it up at the end.
Sure. I do have a Facebook. I'm just Sabrina Bronner there. I have an Instagram. I'm Sabrina Janae there. And I am also accessible via my website, Mind Body Boss. It's a blog site. And yeah, those are my main accounts that you can find me on. Thank you.
Awesome. Everything is on AishaMartin.com. Everything is streamlined. AishaMartin.com. Find me there.
Yes, and you can find me at startyoungfinancial.com. That's startyoungfinancial.com. I mean, the name of my business says it all, what I'm about. And you can also find me on Facebook, and when in my Facebook community, you can find that Make It Rain, and that's rain as in REIGN. Make It Rain. And I call it the funnest community of future millionaires. So I'd love to have you.
Great. And everyone, you can find everything about the tour, everything about the book, about my company, Brooks Enterprise Consultants, at my website at www.brookseandc.com. That's BROOKS. E is an elephant, ANDC.com. You will find information about the book. Each of the ladies, they will be able to sell you a copy of the book at their respective websites and or Facebook pages as well. So please check their Facebook pages and their websites for purchasing the book as well. The book will be available on Amazon and Kindle as well. So please just stay abreast with us, and it's going to be an amazing ride. We have so many opportunities that the ladies don't even know about. I have some international colleagues, and we're trying to plan some international opportunities with the book. As I stated earlier, I have 3 colleagues. One is in Holland. Another one is in Zurich in Switzerland. Another is in the Geneva side of Switzerland as well. And they all have read the book. They all will be given reviews and or endorsements. And after them, we're going to then send the book to my German colleagues, which one of them is originally from Germany, and the other one is originally from Romania and has also lived in Spain. So when we talk about the hands that this book will be into, it's incredible. And it's just the first start for all the things that we have planned for the book. I have been asked about a possible 2016 mini tour as well, and that's really exciting. I have a colleague, as I stated before, that's a professor at Spelman who also has the book in her hands. And if we know anything about women and black women, Spelman is the creme de la creme of schools when it comes to HBCUs and women and black women. So that's really exciting, and we're trying to do something there as well. So this is not just about a book. This is about a movement, and each of these women have a great voice to share their passion and their purpose. So again, as we conclude, we hope that you purchase the book. Please go to our websites and find information about what we're doing. This is not just what we're doing. This is just a collaborative project. Each of these ladies have their own respective business, whether they teach finance or they're teaching PR or they're making you look beautiful with your hair and your makeup. We all have respective businesses as well. I have a 10-week program for women where you can get a certificate in being a leadership professional as well. So please check out what we have going on. And if there's nobody that wants to share anything, we are checking out. This will be available on YouTube. I will continue to broadcast it and pump it out. So ladies, your faces will be seen on YouTube over and over again because I will be sending it out. Ladies, I will send you the link as well so you can send it to your respective networks so they can hear you and see you. Tasha, do you want to say something? I see your little face.
Yeah. I just wanted to let you know that even though international travel is such a burden, I'd be willing to sacrifice to travel internationally for the tour just for you. At extreme personal detriment to myself, I'd do that for you.
It is traveling. Well, Aisha and I have traveled internationally frequently, and I must say that I like traveling internationally for the experience. But those 9-10 hour flights.
Whatever. I don't want to hear any negative things from you with your stays in Paris and the lovely venues. I don't want to hear any negativity.
So and the thing is, we definitely are trying to do that stuff and appreciate it, Tasha. It's really great. And Sabrina, she got a passport ready as well. And Aisha already know you got stamps on stamps on stamps.
Yeah.
Your book, she's already ready. And so, ladies, I'm so excited. I will send you the link to the broadcast today, and let's just get everybody looking at it. So, bye, everyone. And from all the ladies, everybody want to tell everybody bye? Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Until next time.